Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
We've picked up a lot of rain the last 24 hours, bringing some localized flooding concerns with more on the way. The next few hours, still a marginal severe risk that'll be improving as we head into the evening. But Thursday, scattered storms may be capable of large hail and damaging winds with a marginal severe threat. Friday, another day with a widespread slight risk for severe weather and a marginal risk for excessive rainfall. So more flooding possible with locally higher totals both Thursday and Friday. General accumulation, that ½ inch to an inch is expected from Beckley to Elkins and Morgantown, dropping off east and west of that swath. So by this evening, should be done with severe weather, but non-severe rumbles of thunder and showers persisting. Heading into Thursday, it'll be in the late afternoon and evening from the west that additional storms will form and move into the region with some severe potential and some heavy rain. Friday, we'll see this repeat one more time. Friday's storms will be ahead of a cold front, and behind it, some much more comfortable conditions on the way. FlyCRW forecast, it starts at home. You'll notice Chicago already has the clear and more comfortable conditions on Friday behind that same cold front that'll reach D.C. and New York by Saturday. Panhandle forecast, another very warm overnight period with many areas staying in the 70s, then 86 for Morgantown, 88 Moundsville on Thursday. Going east, we see more temperatures maintaining 70s overnight and then reaching 90s for our Thursday. Charlestown, 93. Petersburg, 90. Davis, a cool spot at 79. Elkins, 67 tonight. Ripley, 70. 86 for Elkins and 90 for Ripley for our Thursday. Ending south, where we have more temperatures in mid-60s to low 70s for lows, and then mid-80s to low 90s on Thursday. Friday, not as hot, but we have the cold front passing. By Saturday, some sunshine. It will be next week that we settle into some cooler conditions.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, 3, 1.
Red 57, Red 57, hot.
I don't believe what I just saw. Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
And good evening, everyone. It is a special edition of the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Not Morgantown tonight, folks. It is Omaha, Nebraska. And we welcome you to Omaha, Nebraska, where you are listening live. We are inside the Let It Fly Sports Bar Restaurant Emporium, and we're delighted to have you with us. Tony Caridi here, along with the Senator, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval. And coming up tonight, we're going to paint the picture for you as West Virginia now is just 2 days away from playing its first ever College World Series game. It's Friday afternoon. It's against Troy. We'll get into the game and more coming up in detail. Weather-wise right now, things looking really good for West Virginia in its game on Friday afternoon. And right now, fellas, we're not Morgantown anymore. It is sultry, hot, humid, and fortunately, no rain coming down.
And I tell you what, the ballpark looks great. We passed it on the way in to get here. They have got all the signage out. The team banners are going up along the outside. Practices begin tomorrow. So Omaha does it right. There's a reason this event has stayed where it is for so long. They do it right. The people show up, and it is a big deal, and we're going to start to see that here over the next couple of days.
The first college baseball national championship was played in 1947 between Kansas and Michigan. Then Omaha got it in 1950 and has had it ever since. Ever since. They do such a tremendous job. And a couple of things about that. You know, Brad, when you talk about championships, like in college football, you say it was the national championship, or you're going to a bowl game, or college basketball, it's the Final Four. In baseball, it's always you're going to Omaha, right? You say Omaha, that's a given. And this town, it's a big deal. The 8 teams here will own this town for the next 2 weeks. The town turns out, so it's a great environment for an event. You've been here a couple of times.
Yeah, I have been here a couple of times. It's been a while, and that was back in the old Rosenblatt Stadium.
Yeah.
Now you're at Charles Schwab Stadium, which is beautiful. But you're right, it is going to Omaha. It's not going to the Final Four, going to the college football playoff. This is the destination. It is getting to Omaha, and West Virginia has made it, and we are here, and we are thrilled to be a part of this event.
Absolutely. Coming up on the program this evening, we are going to go deep into this College World Series tournament field with Jensen Lewis, who is the key ESPN broadcaster who was in Morgantown for both the regional and the super regional, and he is absolutely dialed into college baseball. And he liked West Virginia before the tournament even started, and obviously he saw it firsthand.
Yeah, and we've talked to Jensen each of the last 2 weeks on this show, so from a superstition standpoint, Hoppy, had to invite Jensen back. He did. He had a wonderful experience for both the regional and the super regional. Has called West Virginia maybe a team of destiny this season, and they're advancing. So we'll talk to him not only about West Virginia and what he saw, but he'll give us a deep dive into Troy as we start to begin our preview of the Trojans coming up.
So as I said when we first started here tonight, we're inside of a sports bar restaurant called Let It Fly. But to call it a sports bar restaurant would be understating it. It is a big facility. It is absolutely what you would hope to see and think about, a place to go and hang out and watch games. And this is going to be the home base for West Virginia University. They will have events here on Friday with the Mountaineer Athletic Club, on Sunday with the Mountaineer Athletic Club, and those will be before the game. And there are tickets that are available if you would like to attend. There's a ticketed price that you can go to the upstairs portion here where it's a full buffet and you can kind of have a big time doing that. Or if you don't get tickets, you can just come down into the general area and there's still tons of things to see. You can go to the Mountaineer Athletic Club's webpage if you are coming in and you're interested in getting those tickets in advance. But all the WVU events are going to be happening here inside Let It Fly. And we walked in. We're in a studio inside the sports bar, and it's all glass. We're enclosed in glass, and we have got 4 massive monitors in front of us. We've got professional lighting. We've got a wonderful table. We've got our own video producer who we've met, just Val. Val's our guy.
Val's the guy.
We've got multi cameras. In fact, this show will be posted up on the MetroNews TV page and on YouTube a little bit later if you want to get a look or if you miss it in its entirety tonight.
Tony, let me address the fan issue because I was asking a primary source what kind of fan support do you expect. Thinking like 2,500 or 3,000 West Virginia fans here. But there is a bit of an issue because I'm not at liberty to disclose the number, but you would be shocked by how many tickets West Virginia got. Not many. It was in the hundreds. And after you take care of the team and the team's families and staff, you didn't have very many West Virginia tickets to sell. Now you can get tickets on the market, but teams don't get a lot of tickets for this event, fewer than you would think. So that's one issue. So the other thing is, I think Brad and I were talking about this, is that, look, fans turned out unbelievably for the regional and the super regional. Now you're asking them, now can you turn around and get to a place that's not necessarily easy to get to? You got to connect, and it's a long way away, and you got to take off work again. It's not like a bowl game where you can plan for. You got to turn that around right away. So look, Mountaineer fans are going to be here. They're going to be heard, Brad, but it's not the easiest trip for Mountaineer Nation. I think.
The turnaround, the quick turnaround is difficult, but watch what happens here. This town's going to be a lot of gold and blue. They're going to find their way here. Midwest folks that are in this general area alums. This will be West Virginia rarely doesn't show up big.
True.
When there's events of this magnitude, and what we saw in Morgantown's exactly right. I know that was easier because it was at your home base. There will be people here. This will be a good crowd.
You know, and in regard to the tickets, I mean, it's the same ticket allotment for each school. It's
right.
Not just because West Virginia's here for the first time that they're getting fewer tickets. And let's face it, folks, the reality of it is we're in a new world when it comes to tickets. You're buying tickets on the secondary market, right? There's tickets out there.
Yeah.
They're expensive. But it gives you at least the opportunity to get a ticket.
Well, remember, in this event, too, this is a big stadium.
Yes,
26,000. They've gone 44 consecutive College World Series games of 18,000 or more in that stadium. So there's a lot of people that show up to this. But, yeah, as of yesterday, tickets were still available on the official College World Series site. You didn't even have to get to the secondary sites yet. So you can get tickets.
What were they costing yesterday for the West Virginia session in the range?
100-ish. Okay. 100-ish. They were 70 just a couple of days ago for the in there. But what Hoppy's referring to is the team issued Mountaineer tickets in the Mountaineer section. And, yeah, those were limited, but tickets are available if you'd like to come.
Just know there's no Randy's Ridge.
No.
You're going to have to, because it's flat out here. You're going to have to get in the stadium, okay, to see the game.
Yeah, absolutely right. All right, just a couple of things. We've been kicking this around. You guys were kicking this around on the show yesterday, Brad, the significance of this. And I like to look at this, not only the significance of what's happening for the Mountaineer baseball program, but here's an answer that we won't know for months and years to come. What does coming to an event like this do for your program going forward? And just from a historical standpoint, when West Virginia played for the national championship in football, it did not eventually lead to a flurry of other players coming. It didn't. You weren't able to build off of that. The reality of it, right? 88, 89 was pretty good, and then you went 90, 91. They were just okay. In basketball, you went to the Final Four in 10, but that did not, necessarily just change your profile of recruiting. However, I've got just a vibe feel that this one will continue to pay dividends because, from a geographical standpoint, West Virginia is attractive because north of West Virginia, right, all of those states beyond there, like that now goes like Mid-Atlantic, West Virginia, and that Performance Center, I just think is a cash cow right now for this program when they go out to recruit.
We've talked multiple times about this. I think the window is just opening for this baseball program, and I think that biomechanical center is a big driver of that. And it comes in two forms. We heard Brody Kresser on our show talk about the specifics of how that helped with the weight in his batting stance and what that can do specifically. But I think as you start to entertain transfer portal guys, as teams have come in here to play West Virginia and go through that, think of what that is, just that part alone. As visiting teams are coming in here, every series, you're bringing players through that facility, and no one else has one like that. You think that's not impacting guys that are coming through? 100% it is. Wait till you get cranked up with some of the high school camps and invitationals you can have. Top 25 high school pitchers around the country, you're invited in to use the Performance Center. Now you get all those kids on campus, to say nothing of the financial impact that building can have on some revenue back to baseball. So I think it's massive. I think this branding that comes out of getting to the College World Series absolutely vaults you forward. I mean, you can already see it just in this town, the TV coverage. It changes the perception of the program significantly.
Guys, when you played for the national championship in football, it turned out to be a one-off.
Yeah.
When you played for when you were in the Final Four, it was a one-off. This is an established program. This is not a program that, they're getting this. It's not a fluke. This is an established program, super regional 2 years in a row. Now you're in Omaha. So this is a national program with a national profile, number one. The second thing is that this coaching staff recruits not only talent but to culture. And now you can be a little more selective about who you want. Teams, it's not just going out to get guys. I mean, you got to do that, but also guys who want to come here because of the culture.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, guys. I don't think it's going to change a whole lot in terms of how this staff approaches recruiting. Already, West Virginia will come in with the most former Division II players on their roster. You see what that's done. How many times have we talked about that? They haven't just hit on those guys. If you get those guys to come in and be starters, that's great. West Virginia's guys turn into all-conference players and all-Americans. Their hit rate has been incredible. The evaluation that this staff has done on particular players has been absolutely elite, as good as there is out there. I expect that to continue. You're going to continue to go out and mine and find those guys, to your point, that fit culture but can also play. We've said this many times. I think baseball's the most transferable from levels on up. If you throw 97, you throw 97. It doesn't matter if you're at the Division II level or the Division I. We talked to Dawson Montesa recently on this show, and he was throwing gas at Adelphia 97. Well, you can see that. Now you have to harness some things and tweak some things, and there's some development that goes with that. And what's Dawson Montesa turn into? A valuable member of a team that's in the College World Series. So I think the evaluation has been so good. I think Steve Sabins and this staff will continue to do what it's done and what's made it successful.
Yeah, and I think you've reached a tipping point with 3 consecutive Super Regionals and now a College World Series, so it's not a one-off. And so in the recruiting world now, it's like, man, they're winning. And I think it will give West Virginia a higher profile guy that they can now obtain that perhaps 5, 7, 8 years ago they wouldn't have had a chance at. All right, we invite you to stay tuned. Jensen Lewis, ESPN analyst, who will be overseeing College World Series play over the next couple of weeks as this tournament rolls on, joins us. We'll talk Mountaineers and more.
Yeah, and thanks to our friends at Jarrett Construction as we're here from Omaha. Jarrett Construction, right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
CityNet Statewide Sportsline continues from Omaha and the Let It Fly Sports Bar right after this.
At WVU Medicine, innovation is redefining men's health. Our specialists use advanced techniques like no needle, no scalpel vasectomy, and cutting-edge procedures for infertility. We offer precise vasectomy reversals, targeted solutions for pain, and the latest in testosterone replacement therapy, all designed to improve outcomes and recovery. For appointments, call 855-WVU-CARE or visit wvumedicine.org/urology.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. Fiber is now at your front door and even in rural areas and communities across West Virginia. Thanks to broadband expansion funding, your tax dollars helped make it possible. And CityNet turned that investment into real connections for local families and businesses. Now, you can get blazing fast fiber internet with free installation, free equipment, no long-term contract, and local customer support that's always close to home. Don't settle for slow or no internet for another day. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
The CityNet Statewide Sports Line continues. We're in 2 locations tonight. That's right. We've split the Health Plan studio. Brad Howe and I are in Omaha, Nebraska at the Let It Fly Sports Bar. And our boy, beloved Coach Greg Hunter back at our studios in Morgantown. Good evening to you, Coach Hunter.
Good evening, guys. I'm glad you made it safely to Omaha. Somebody had to stay here and watch the Mountaineers take off. So
I know. We saw you on social media. We were I don't know where we were, in Chicago on our way here, and we said, hey, there's Coach Hunter. He's bidding the team farewell.
I was out there, as were about 100, and not 100,000, about 100 Mountaineer fans or so at the Coliseum as they took off in buses, and it's my understanding there were even more waiting for them at the airport in Clarksburg as they got ready to board the plane in their charter flight out. So they got a good send-off, and I understand they made it safely to Omaha.
I tell you what, this health plan studio here in Omaha is really, really nice. And a reminder, the health plan provides health coverage options and has been the most trusted carrier for over 40 years. All right, we're pleased now to be joined for our third consecutive week by ESPN baseball analyst Jensen Lewis. Jensen also hosts VSiN's By the Books every morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern, and he is an adopted West Virginian at this point. We welcome Jensen Lewis to the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. My friend, welcome in again. We're glad to have you back.
Congratulations, guys. It has been just fun to be a small footnote in telling the story these last couple of weeks, and now on the national stage. It is no longer a secret, guys. It feels like the Mountaineers are America's team. And what a couple of weeks they could potentially have in store for them starting on Friday afternoon.
Jensen, are you willing at this point to commit to getting a flying WV tattoo somewhere on your body because of your love for the Mountaineers?
Well, I could tell you, talking with Coach Mazey in the booth, we were kind of joking that he told me I was the good luck charm back from 2024 in Tucson when they won the regional there and unfortunately fell in Chapel Hill. And then he said when he saw me on the broadcast sheet for not only the regional but the supers, he's like, well, we're in pretty good shape. And I said, well, if it keeps going this way, I may have to be an adopted son, and leave it to Ren Baker. And shout out to him for now fully outfitting me. So there's no excuse, guys. So I've got gold and blue ready to rock and roll from Friday afternoon on.
So Jensen, you've
got all the gear, and you are set up nicely there for us. Hey Jensen, let's take a look at this West Virginia team as you've watched them, and you've got extensive experience here. You played at Vanderbilt in the SEC. You played in the major leagues with the Cleveland Indians. As you have exited here after the first couple of weeks of watching West Virginia, what is it that made them so successful? How did they get to the point that they've run this all the way to the College World Series?
Yeah, I think a couple of key parts of the DNA. First, it's a gritty group, right? And when you play, all the way from the start through the finish line, the way that they do, both on the mound, in the field, not taking your foot off the gas pedal on the stolen base paths there, and the clutch hitting, guys. I mean, it feels like it's all the ingredients that you would add to make it a perfect recipe for success, and that's what's played out here in the last couple of weeks. Now, as that translates here when you get to Charles Schwab Field, it is a bigger ballpark. The winds tend to blow in large part, so we'll kind of have to wait and see how the weather plays out here these first couple of days. At least from last year, guys, when I was out there, first of all, it was sweltering hot. I mean, it was absolutely a pressure cooker temperature-wise. So we'll see kind of where it ends up for you guys moving forward here. But I think what Coach Steve Stevens has going for him, first, the gap-to-gap power that this group has shown, and even with the wind blowing out to left center field there back at Kendrick Family Park, I think that'll still play because it's still a lot of ground for outfielders to have to cover there in Omaha. So taking the extra base, we know they're one of the best teams remaining as far as stolen bases are concerned. I think they're going to put an immense amount of pressure on opposing pitching staffs to limit them from getting into scoring position. So you've got the top of the order swinging as good as possibly could. What has done, of course, with Gavin Kelly throughout the postseason, and then just the clutchness of Paul Schoenfeld. I mean, Ben Lumsden at the bottom of the order, Tyrus Hall. I mean, have a weekend, big fella. I mean, that was incredible to see what the bottom of the order did. So I think everyone pulling in the same direction. But if you got pitching and defense and the speed pressure the way that West Virginia has, and at least what they've shown here through the first two rounds of this postseason, it really puts you in a great spot to be able to advance deep into the second week in Omaha.
So what's it going to take, Jensen, for West Virginia to advance deep? How do they stack up against not only Troy in the first game, but the others on their side of the bracket in North Carolina and Ole Miss?
Yeah, certainly Troy, and we'll just kind of take that initial matchup. I mean, they are absolutely rolling right now, and for a team to come out of the Gainesville Regional the way that they did and really paced a Florida Gator team a couple of days in a row, where you felt that Florida almost was that red-hot team that no one wanted to face, and they may have had a much clearer path to Omaha being ranked where they were as the number 8 national seed. That doesn't come to pass. That's why we play the game. And I think as far as a pitching standpoint goes, guys, that's probably the biggest mismatch, at least on paper for me. Looking at the runs allowed, West Virginia have been one of the better pitching staffs through this postseason, and Troy has certainly allowed their fair share of runs. So I think the early offense for the Mountaineers is a key to be able to settle in. There's going to be nerves on both sides. There's two programs making their College World Series debut. So I would fully expect that you're going to have to try and harness all the butterflies there, maybe the first time around the order. I think what works in West Virginia's favor, you've got Chanson Cole, who's just going to fill up the strike zone, a lot of sinker slider there. That's going to play really well, keeping the ball on the ground and kind of letting the defense work, picking up some quick outs. And then, just using that speed atop the lineup, really allow Armani and Gavin to create that havoc in front of Paul and the rest of the middle of the order. Heck, Sean Smith does what he does over the Super Regional. He carries that into Middle America, guys. You're going to be playing for a while the way this offense is humming right now.
Jensen Lewis is our guest, ESPN analyst, who has been on the broadcast for West Virginia, both in the regional and the Super Regional round. If you could, let's talk big picture here. It's been an amazing tournament with some surprises, right? So West Virginia's here, where UCLA many thought would be here. If you could, put this tournament to this point into perspective from your view as to what kind of tournament it's been so far. And then the second point of that, from an outsider's point of view, now 3 straight Super Regionals and a College World Series for West Virginia. What do you think this does in the perception of West Virginia's college baseball program, not only to fans, but what do you think something like this could do going forward in regard to recruiting?
Yeah, I'll start with the second question because I think it's the easy answer. Is anytime you accomplish and kind of bust through that final door to get to this point in the college baseball season, you are now a national brand and you are a program that has gained as close to the ultimate respect without winning the national championship. And I would already anticipate seeing some of the rumors, and I'm sure you guys are aware of it, already some movement in that transfer portal and maybe some big names that could potentially be headed to Morgantown. So that's already product number one. Product number two, our day and age of NIL, guys, and I read the newspaper, or at least online the newspaper, as we are in our day and age. I already saw where good old Pat McAfee is looking to get a new little raise, and we already know how big of a donor and how much he's helped out the West Virginia program. But you start to gather momentum, having Pat show up for the Super Regional, having, his program come there and kind of be that lead-in to West Virginia and Troy for game number one. You're attracting such a wider audience than I even think people realize. It gets you a lot of eyeballs from around a lot of different demographics that really put a focus on what Steve Sabins and this program are doing right now. So I think it raises not only the floor significantly, but it also, guys, brings the expectation that, okay, this is 3 Super Regionals. You finally bust through. Guess what? No matter what happens the rest of the year, that's going to be the bottom line is, we expect to be in a Super every year moving forward. And that can come with some added pressure, no question about it. But as far as that pertains to where this ultimately looks in the grand scheme of the tournament, guys, I couldn't have predicted the last 2 years in a row where we would not have one member of the previous year's Omaha 8 be able to return the following year and to kind of look broader, that North Carolina is the only team in the last 3 years that's been a repeat participant. I think it just kind of tells you that the field is wide open every single year. It's not just the SEC as someone who went to Vanderbilt, albeit there are 5 of the 8 representatives here this year. It is wide open, and it is there for the taking. And if you've got a great club, you've got as good a chance as anybody to win this thing.
Yeah, it's almost as if March Madness has come to college baseball now with that parity that's developed. Jensen, let's jump back to Troy for just a second here. You mentioned there, as hot as West Virginia is, Troy is right there in matching them and getting to its first College World Series. Give us a little more deep dive into what they do. One of their keys, they don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play a ton, third nationally in K rate. What's the secret sauce for Troy getting to this point?
Yeah, and I think it's just the ability to be as diversified through the lineup, right? You mentioned kind of their OPS and their strikeout rate. I think only North Carolina strikes out at a lower percentage of the 8 in the field right now than Troy. And so putting the ball in play, creating some long at-bats and trying to drive up some pitch counts, they've been able to put up some crooked numbers in similar fashion. It's not a huge walk rate that they have, probably middle of the pack for where you are of the teams participating in Omaha. Their weighted runs created plus for the analytically inclined right there is probably middle of the pack of this field. West Virginia, ironically, in a great spot, I think only behind Georgia in that category right now. So I think for me, it's always about out number one, like not allowing big innings to manifest itself. It's Skylar Meade. I mean, you can listen to every post-game interview and watch how they play. Guys, there's a swagger with this group. I mean, they not only do they feel like they belong, they kind of resemble a team that feels like they've been slighted for most of the years. It's always a dangerous part of the DNA to have to deal with, but I would fully expect that they'll have the same amount of jitters as West Virginia those first couple of innings. So which team can really settle in quicker, I think, has the advantage there. And then defensively, guys, we saw it really play out in the regional and even in the Super against Cal Poly. If you give West Virginia or Troy extra offensive outs to work with, they are going to absolutely decimate you. They have really compounded mistakes from the opposition side. They have made it stand up with some big crooked numbers. Troy has that ability too. Don't allow them to really get going with runners in scoring position early. They will have that crooked number capability. So, again, if it is Chance and Cole that's going to get the ball on Friday, and I don't see why not, it's, again, kind of that rinse-repeat for what he's done. Just be able to pound that strike zone, get a lot of these Troy hitters, especially towards the middle and top of the lineup, to kind of beat it in the ground. Some weak contact within the first 3 pitches of at-bats. That's the recipe for success to try to go 1-0 there on Friday.
Jensen, what's the pressure level once you get to Omaha? I mean, in college baseball, to get through the regionals and super regionals, you're going to have to overcome pressure at some point. West Virginia did against Kentucky. North Carolina did this past weekend against USC. Is the pressure that much greater in Omaha, or have you already faced a ton of pressure and it's just more of it once you get there?
Yeah, I think it's more of it's a much bigger yard, as you guys will see. You're looking at 20,000 plus, and you feel everybody there. It is every eyeball in the baseball world upon you because you're the only game in town. Nothing else is going on, and so that focus is really elevated to a fever pitch. You look at some of the teams, guys. At Georgia, a back and forth slugfest between them and Mississippi State. I don't know if the home run balls where, you can look at the dimensions of Foley Field and then compare that with Charles Schwab and say, all right, some of those fly balls might be warning track outs there, and maybe Georgia can't rely on the home run ball as much away from their home ballpark. You look at Texas kind of in a similar fashion. They will force some at-bats to where you're walking guys, and then they'll do their damage there. I even look at Oklahoma, had them in an earlier series against Vanderbilt. They hadn't put everything together just yet, but remember, this is one of the better teams out of the gate in the SEC. Ole Miss has been battle-tested. They can kind of beat you a myriad of different ways. And North Carolina, as you said, basically we're down to their final 3 outs to try and preserve at least a chance to force extra innings, let alone be able to walk it off there in Game 3. So I think each team has their own individual hurdles mentally to be able to get over. I don't even know odds-wise, for what I do on a day-to-day basis, guys, yes, it is Georgia and North Carolina that are the shortest odds. Texas just shortly behind them. But I think you can kind of poke some holes in that and more so to looking at the gauntlet that Georgia and Texas and Oklahoma and Alabama are going to have to go through. It's a mini SEC tournament on that other side of the bracket. So West Virginia is still in a great spot to be able to control their own destiny, do what they have done here the last couple of weeks and kind of shut out the other noise. You get through the first couple innings on Friday, and then I think that pressure kind of subsides a little bit. You're just playing baseball then after that, and you're with your boys, and you're just having a blast.
Really want to thank you a ton for your time. Before we let you go, what are the odds that you could post right now that you will get a WV tattoo if the Mountaineers win the whole thing?
I'll tell you what.
I mean, is that even money, or where are we going with that?
If it's even money, then I'm going to have to talk to the better half here and see what we're going to do. I got enough of the gear to go head to toe and show the WVU pride. But, guys, this has been a hell of a run. It has been a real privilege to just be around the Morgantown community. Welcome with open arms. I've been asked left, right, and center about where the best pepperoni rolls are. Shout out to Amanda Mazey for bringing them up to the broadcast booth so all of us could have the homemade version. It has really felt like an extension of home. You guys should be so proud of what you've all done as a community. The scenes from Monday night with everyone singing, Country Roads, I still get goosebumps. I told Brad Howe during the rain delay, I said, I still got him. I could think exactly where I was.
I think we lost.
There you go.
There he is.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Jensen, again, thank you so very much for your time. We really appreciate the insight. Keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully the Mountaineers have a lot more baseball still to play.
You got it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. There he is. Jensen Lewis, analyst, ESPN, also host on VSiN each and every day.
Yeah, 7 to 10 a.m. VSiN by the books if you want to hear more from Jensen. Obviously, you can tell how dialed in he is, and I think it's interesting to get his perspective. A guy that doesn't have a tie to West Virginia, that just came in here cold as a college baseball fan, but did not necessarily know what Morgantown was about, and you see how impressed he walked away after just 2 weekends.
All right. Text line is open, and we invite you to hit us up there. We'll have some of those when we return. Brad and I are in Omaha, Nebraska at the Let It Fly Sports Bar. Coach Hunter back in Morgantown, and we're back with you after this on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program has been a huge success. High school juniors from all across the state have applied, and we're down to 15 finalists. Now, we need your help. Please go to wvmetronews.com for your favorite finalist. By casting your vote, you can help determine who will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. That includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Just log on to wvmetronews.com, click the Vote Now button, and cast your vote. You have until midnight, June 14th, to help us change the life of a West Virginia student and their family forever. Cast your vote today by clicking the Vote Now button at wvmetronews.com. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar is supported by Greer Industries, the West Virginia Hospital Association, ZMM Architects and Engineers, the West Virginia Farm Bureau, Friends of Coal, and of course, MetroNews. Vote now at wvmetronews.com and help us change the life of a West Virginia student forever.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
We've picked up a lot of rain the last 24 hours, bringing some localized flooding concerns with more on the way. The next few hours, still a marginal severe risk that'll be improving as we head into the evening. But Thursday, scattered storms may be capable of large hail and damaging winds with a marginal severe threat. Friday, another day with a widespread slight risk for severe weather and a marginal risk for excessive rainfall. So more flooding possible with locally higher totals both Thursday and Friday. General accumulation, that ½ inch to an inch is expected from Beckley to Elkins and Morgantown, dropping off east and west of that swath. So by this evening, should be done with severe weather, but non-severe rumbles of thunder and showers persisting. Heading into Thursday, it'll be in the late afternoon and evening from the west that additional storms will form and move into the region with some severe potential and some heavy rain. Friday, we'll see this repeat one more time. Friday's storms will be ahead of a cold front, and behind it, some much more comfortable conditions on the way. FlyStarW forecast, it starts at home. You'll notice Chicago already has the clear and more comfortable conditions on Friday behind that same cold front that'll reach D.C. and New York by Saturday. Panhandle forecast, another very warm overnight period with many areas staying in the 70s. Then 86 for Morgantown, 88 Moundsville on Thursday. Going east, we see more temperatures maintaining 70s overnight and then reaching 90s for our Thursday. Charlestown 93, Petersburg 90, Davis a cool spot at 79. Elkins 67 tonight, Ripley 70, 86 for Elkins and 90 for Ripley for our Thursday. Ending south, where we have more temperatures in mid-60s to low 70s for lows, and then mid-80s to low 90s on Thursday. Friday, not as hot, but we have the cold front passing. By Saturday, some sunshine. It will be next week that we settle into some cooler conditions.
CityNet Fiber is built for the way West Virginia lives and works. From streaming at home to running your business, you can check your address and get started today at citynet.net. Remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
We are back inside the Let It Fly Sports Bar in Omaha, Nebraska. This is going to be the official hangout for WVU fans as they make their way here to watch West Virginia compete in its first ever College World Series. Game time on Friday afternoon is 2 o'clock back home, 1 o'clock here, and that will designate West Virginia to play against Troy in the very first game of this year's tournament. 2 games on Friday and 2 games on Saturday as play gets underway. And if you haven't followed this like really closely, there is no championship that lasts longer than this event, right? Final Four is 2 days, right? You go Saturday, you go Monday, thing's over. College football, right? Well, I guess a couple of rounds now with the playoff, but this thing goes.
It does go, and it's really the way to think about it. There's 2 separate regionals going on here. The bracket that West Virginia's in, and the other side. Those are like what you just saw 2 weeks ago when West Virginia defeated Kentucky and came out of the regional. Then the winners of these Omaha regionals advance on to the final sub-regional, super regional of the year, where it'll be best 2 out of 3 for the championship. But you do get a day in between some of these games, which will certainly help on the arms and the pitching staff, give you some guys that could appear in back-to-back games.
So West Virginia will go Friday, and then they will go again on Sunday, and then you'll see where you are from that point.
Yeah, win or lose. So if you lose the first game Friday, you'll come back the early game Sunday afternoon. You win Friday, you advance on to an evening game coming up here on Sunday.
All right, Coach Hunter, no football yet that we've talked about. I heard you guys last night talking about Sorsby.
What's your thought, Tony? We haven't gotten your opinion. Brad and I have given ours.
The constant theme that I keep in my head now is that, number one, I'm aghast that this is happening. It's disgusting. And I say that because it's just basically a microcosm of today's society where even if you screw up, no one ever just takes the responsibility and the consequence and just says, you know what, I was wrong, I'm manning up, and that's that. Instead, we just find ways to get around it. And from the big picture standpoint, those things just continue to fragment and chip away at whatever it is that we have. And I don't know how it's going to end up. I don't know what the ultimate result will be. There are just some extremely important conversations that are happening right now within the Big 12 Conference. Yesterday it was the athletic directors, then it goes to the presidents, and ultimately it'll go to committees. But to me, they've got to try to find a way to tell Texas Tech to stand down, or there has to be something in there, because I just think it is a horrendous situation it would open up the floodgates to any and everything.
Well, as we talked yesterday, Tony, here's one of the things that's lining up, and you mentioned it. The Big 12 athletic directors got on the phone with Brett Yormark and had their discussions. Nothing substantive coming out of there, at least being reported from Brett Yormark. Now it goes to the presidents. But in response to that, on 3 reporting, Texas Tech isn't saying, oh, how can we make this better with everybody? They're doing what Texas Tech has done. They're digging in their heels and giving it the old come on with it.
Yep.
They have said, according to Pete Nakos of On 3, that they are preparing for courtroom battles against any team, league member included, that wishes to exclude them from their schedule. So this is yet again, this is going to be something decided in the courts. And I think the question, amateur lawyer here, the question is, if the NCAA's rule did not hold up, what makes the Big 12 sanctions or bylaws hold up in that situation if Tech is going to force that back into a courtroom? I think that would be my first question to presidents and ADs, and I'm sure that's part of what they're talking about on these calls.
I think that ultimately you've got the best and brightest legal minds are looking at every single piece of that Constitution that teams signed to join the league, and they're seeing if there is something there that they think that they can win in a court of law. What a bad look, man. Just what a horrendous, horrendous look. All right, we'll take a break. More coming your way. We are in Omaha, Nebraska. We have got the Health Plan Studio in Omaha and in Morgantown. More coming your way after this. CityNet Statewide Sportsline.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan. We are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster
Welcome back, everyone. It is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Tony Caridi along with Brad Howe inside the Let It Fly Sports Bar in Omaha, Nebraska. And Greg Hunter standing by at our studios in Morgantown. If you are a Three Guys listener, we will be recording an episode of Three Guys tomorrow. And if you're a subscriber, you'll get a notification that we'll have one coming. We'll work on some guests. We'll work on some live in-studio guests.
Efforting.
Got a beautiful facility here. Who knows who we'll be able to.
Yeah. Our Metro News updates from Omaha brought to you by our friends at Jarrett Construction. Right on time, right on budget. Call Jarrett Construction.
All righty. NBA championship continues tonight. Knicks had their win streak snapped on Monday, and now it's a 2-1 series lead for the Knicks. Home court tonight, massive, massive game in this series, right? Could San Antonio, after losing 2 at home, win 2 in the world's most famous arena and even this thing? Or is tonight the night that the Knicks win and take a 3-1 lead, which would be as they say, a commanding 3-1 series lead?
I think Coach Hunter's getting a little nervous. He proclaimed
Heard that.
sizing up Deuce
Heard
McBride
Yep.
a couple days ago. So I think Coach Hunter is hoping for a Nick win tonight so that his prognostication comes true.
Well, yeah.
Hunter had the ball for ring guy over at Deuce's house saying, is this size or this? Didn't you, Hunter? Admit it.
I was ready. I was putting the West Virginia basketball history post up there that Deuce was the third Mountaineer ever to win an NBA ring beyond Jerry West and Jerome Anderson. So they got a little bit of work to do before he gets there. But that's what the achievement would be in West Virginia terms. Just the third one ever.
But here's your swing game, right? If you go up 3-1, then I think Coach Hunter's right. He can continue with the Jostens rings there and getting the World Championship ring. If not, if Webb and Yama and company comes back and evens this 2-2 and takes one on the Knicks home court, okay, then we're back in, and now we got a series going here.
Yeah. Coach Hunter, Mountaineer football team has been going out twice each week now. For about an hour 15 minutes is all they're able to do. I get basically an hour after they stretch. This is an extremely busy time that's quiet. In other words, like people can just come on, visit, walk on campus now. I was over there yesterday. There was a full high school team, or a good chunk of a high school team. Just they walk the kids through while the Mountaineers are going there. What do you see happening here recruiting-wise? What do you see news-wise developing? Because baseball season has gone so long, I hate to tell you here, folks, but guess what's going to happen? By the time this baseball thing's over, it's 6 weeks. Sometimes the thing gets shut down, and all of a sudden it's like 3 months. It's 6 weeks, and it will be practice time for real.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're practicing it as we speak, or, what they do in the summer, and it's certainly a whole lot more than it used to be. I mean, there are no pads out there they don't hit, but coaches could be on the field and actually instruct the kids for limited times. And the other side, Tony, you talked about the recruiting. I mean, West Virginia's already got 15 verbal commitments for the class of 2027, which is amazing considering we're still, not even to the midpoint of June. But this is also the time now when they start holding a lot of camps. So they've had some of those in and some of those visitors in, but they'll have hundreds of kids in over the next 3, 4, or 5 weeks as they go through. Not every one of those is a potential recruit, but a lot of them are. So, yeah, I mean, you're working with not only your own kids, but you're also looking forward to the future as well. So, incredibly important time for football, even though it's sort of behind a curtain.
This is also where we start to get into commit season. Right, Greg, coming out of these camps is when you'll get a lot of those online. I know that's not the same volume of number that it was a few years ago, but that also starts to hit here pretty heavy after these camps.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see because they have sped this up so much more. Like I said, they've already got 15 of those. They're going to be a bunch more over the course of the summer, and there'll be a few into the fall. But how many more do they take? Have they seen a lot of what they want and already have commits from them? I mean, they don't have everybody, but they've got a lot. 15 is the most I remember at this point in the year. So we'll see how much further they go. But there'll be more commits coming out of these camps, that's for certain.
And it's interesting that, when Rich was here the first time, West Virginia became something that caught the nation's attention because of Pat White, because of Steve Slayton. West Virginia was cool. It was cool to follow West Virginia, right? I think he's doing it again. And by that I mean this past weekend, Friday game, he's sitting there with Pat McAfee. Like, you can't buy that. You can't buy that. It makes West Virginia cool. McAfee, Pat is doing his show here on a rooftop on Friday afternoon, again this week. And there is a belief that the head football coach may play a prominent role on that show on Friday, on this coming Friday afternoon. And again, that's the kind of stuff that is invaluable to your brand. It stands out to kids. It makes you cool. It can, hey, did you see Coach on Pat McAfee's show? It's those little things that gives you a unique difference, a unique selling proposition when it comes out to recruiting.
Well, and you're right, Tony, and we talked about what pop that would give to the baseball program, but look, it's popping across all programs, right? Football included coming up this week.
Rich is right on there. They're riding it, right?
Yeah.
Ross Hodge, he was already at the games, and chances are he'll probably make his way out here at some point as well. It's all one big happy family. All right. Special thank you to the folks here at All Fly. Super Val, our video producer. Special thanks to Satellite Production Facilities operator Ben Lohman. And special thanks to Coach Hunter and to our guy Ethan back in Morgantown. For Brad Howe, I'm Tony Caridi. We're back again tomorrow night, 6:06, right here on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Have a good night, everybody.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the MetroNews Radio Network.
All rights reserved.